Hello guys and welcome back to my Big Brother Daily Reviews, and today we are going to be talking about day 4 in which the housemates were given their first shopping task of the season, and the first shopping task actually proved to be quite dramatic, stirred up some tensions, but it was also very funny in areas as well. So let's jump straight in. This week we have Big Bros Ltd, which is essentially a company themed challenge in which the housemates are split into the bigwigs, the middle management, and the bottoms, which they kept saying it throughout the entire episode. It just kept making me chuckle, and it felt a bit targeted at times towards some people. So it was very funny. Big Brother decided who the bigwigs were going to be, and the bigwigs turned out to be Yinren, Trish, and Henry. And I think that was a nice sort of group of people to sort of make the bigwigs, because they seem to have formed a close bond, which was really nice. And I think that they definitely had a lot of banter about it, because they're obviously some of the closest people in the house, and they therefore made decisions based on what would cause some drama or what would be good for people at the same time. So there was a lot of layers going on with them, which was really nice to see. In the middle management, we had
Farida. Secondly, we have Kerry.
Zach.
And then we have Zach. And then we have Matty. And last but not least, we have Jordan. You bring a good balance.
And I'll get back to the middle management in a little bit, because for some reason, out of all 3 layers, the middle management seemed to have the most drama stirring within it. So the bottoms turned out to be
Go you, Ed.
The first one is Hallie. And next, we have Tom. Next, we have Noki. And then we have Jenkin. Next, we have Olivia. Next, we have Dylan, our hard rock. Then we have the sweet and soft Chanel.
I'll take that.
Last but not least, we have Paul as closing up of our bottom line.
they were the bottoms, and they were essentially asked to carry out sort of really boring tasks. Like, I think their task for the first day was to sort paper clips by colour, and I think I think if I was in the house and I was given that job, it would give me something to do, and I wouldn't grumble and moan about it, because let's face it, there's fuck all else to do. There's literally nothing else to do in the house. If there was like Netflix to watch, or there was like a book I could read, yeah, fair enough, maybe I wouldn't want to sort the paper clips. But if I can just sit around a table all day and just have something to keep my mind active, I think that's what Farida was getting at a little bit early, a little bit later on in the episode, as she was saying that, like, I've got nothing to do, so my mind's just it's really tiring me out because I'm doing nothing. So, like, I understood where she was coming from, but we'll get back to that in a little bit. The food situation was not great for the middle management and for the sort of bottom workers. The bigwigs got a lovely spread of of food, whereas the middle management and bottom feeders were confined to basic rations. So they literally took all of their food away, because obviously this is for the shopping task, and forced them to live on basic rations. But then they also gave them a packed lunch, and I think at one point Kerry turned round and was like, "What is this? Tofu?" And then I ain't eaten that, and then zoomed off on her mobility scooter. It was very entertaining to watch, especially because they had no say over their packed lunch. So imagine if they got something like, I don't know, I was going to say ham and mustard, but I kind of like that now. Egg and cress, or yeah, no, I couldn't imagine eating an egg and cress sandwich. Not a bit of me. Egg does not go in a sandwich for me.
Theo.
Oh, God.
So, for his duties of fire warden, Jordan was told to read out a quite a long instruction sheet about what to do in the event of a fire alarm. And I gotta say, it was endlessly entertaining to hear him so dryly read off the instructions.
It will show you how much time you have to evacuate the office, which is this house here. Are you all listening?
Yes, Mr. Jordan.
Well, we have to get through this. This is... Big wig. Big wig 1.
What's Henry doing?
To the point where everyone else in the house was wetting themselves.
If you're hysterical, I have to deal with that, so please don't be hysterical. Follow the instructions.
Because he was taking it so seriously. He was also having to wear some stupid outfit with like a siren on his head. It was just very, very funny. And then almost immediately after he finished talking, the fire alarm went off and they were asked to stand outside. They were given 2 minutes to stand outside in a square, and then he had to call off the register. Oh my goodness, it was so funny. And I think it's just making me love Jordan even more. Like, he actually is probably one of the funniest people in the house at the moment, and I think this just cemented that for me. He's so entertaining, and I don't even know if he knows that he's being entertaining, because he just is funny. And there was a moment earlier on in the episode where Matty was trying to be really positive and singing a song about working, and Jordan was just sitting there with his sunglasses and just went,
"Every day is a great day when you're a cog in a machine and you're just working for the man." Yeah. Isn't that right, Jordan?
No, it's not.
Paul and Zach's post-room challenge, and I thought it was quite entertaining, and I think Paul and Zach were the right people to be given that task, because I have seen nothing from them so far, and like I've not been connecting with them, but I think this challenge did a good job of allowing me to laugh, not at them, but with them, because obviously they weren't taking the challenge very seriously. I don't think they passed it at all, because Big Brother basically set them up to fail. They put 2 lads in a room and gave them posts with places in the UK, and just went, yeah, sort them into A, B, C, and D, and on the wall there was like a picture of the United Kingdom split up into 4. I don't even think I could do that. And like, Paul was actually quite good. I'll give him his props. He knew where a lot of places were. Zach did not have a clue at all. Not a single place. I think he said like, I can't remember what he said. He said something stupid. I went, "Oh, is it not near London?" And Paul turned around and went, "No, it's literally up north." It was quite an entertaining challenge. There was some twists and turns along the way. Like when they got halfway through the challenge, Big Brother was like, "Oh, you've got some fan mail," and then Jets behind, like sort of where they put the completed post, blew all the posts back on the floor, and it just caused a bit of a mess. There was some bird poo that got them at one point, and it was just quite entertaining to see these people take part in a challenge that was so ridiculous. It felt a little bit like a Dingo Dollar challenge from I'm a Celebrity, which kind of makes sense because ITV also does I'm a Celeb. So like it felt very reminiscent of that, but it was still highly entertaining and I did enjoy myself. So yeah, good challenge, guys. Okay, it's been a very, very tense 24 hours on Twitter, and I think it's safe to say that the country is divided at the moment on whether they support Kerry or whether they support Farida. And I watched the episode an hour late, so I was seeing all these messages come up of like Kerry versus Farida even, like what's going on? And I was like, what's happening? And I watched the episode, and I don't think that there was any justification for this kind of versus mentality, because all that happened was Farida's getting frustrated that she's not doing anything and she wants to help, but obviously they're telling her, don't help because you'll end up causing us to fail the task. which is fair enough. Then Kerry is asked by Zach, because for some reason Zach took over as head of middle management. And he said to Kerry, tomorrow I think you should take over because it will come, like, bossing them around will come better from you than it will from me. And then once Zach was gone, Farida was like, oh, why were you chosen? Why wasn't this a group decision? And Kerry just got a little bit overwhelmed because she just didn't want the aggro, and it felt like Farida was bringing aggro. I don't think she was, but I think that's how it came across. And so Hallie and Kerry ended up having a conversation in the bedroom, and I think then Kerry was sort of using hyperbole. She was making it sound worse than it was, but also at the same time, if that's how she felt, that's how she felt. So I think it's just one big misunderstanding, and it's causing these two big personalities to clash within the house, which I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting Kerry and Farida to be the ones to clash, but they are clashing, and I think that's because they have two very different personalities. Kerry's incredibly sarcastic and sort of doesn't take prisoners, whereas Farida's very much, she wants to help everyone. She's very she's just sort of very I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but yeah, she's just a nice person. Not saying that Kerry isn't, because she is lovely, but she just wants to help everyone out, whereas Kerry's like, got to play by the rules. So I think that's where it's coming from. And then that was shown a little bit later on when they were having a conversation with Zach mediating over the shopping list. And Kerry brought up a very, very valid point. The bottom group have not had a great time currently. They're on basic rations, the food isn't great, and they're being made to do like stupid little jobs like sorting paper clips. I think in tomorrow's episode, they're having to like lick envelopes. So it's just menial jobs. And all she said was, I think they should have priority for the shopping list if we win. And I kind of agree. But then Farida was like, well, no, because I want to make sure that I've got this. I think it should be a group decision. And it did come across a little bit selfish. I understand why she's saying that, because obviously she wants to make sure that she's got her halal stuff, which I don't think anyone in that house would stop her from having. And I think that's the issue, is that Kerry's trying to do a good thing, Farida's trying to look out for the whole house, and so they're just clashing. And then Farida had like a really weird speech at the end of the episode where she was like, I'm not gonna let Kerry like sort of take me for a fool or whatever. And I was just like, it's not necessary. There is no drama here. No one has said anything to the other person that is horrendous or rude or nasty. All that's happened is just you've got a bit grouchy with each other and you're starting to clash. That's all that's happened here. And I think it's important to remember that. The last little bit of the shopping challenge for this episode was the big wigs taking a corporate golf retreat to the back garden and playing a little bit of mini golf. And we didn't get to see a lot of the mini golf aspect of the episode, but we did get to hear their conversations about who they are going to promote and who they're going to demote. And I thought what they did was quite fair. They promoted Paul because obviously he was a hard worker, and they demoted Farida so that she'd actually have something to do tomorrow. So I think that's fair. I don't think that will cause any drama whatsoever, because I think Farida wanted to be one of the bottom workers. And I think Paul will be happy being middle management tomorrow. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the shopping challenge today. So we're going to finish off today's episode with some iconic moments from this episode. And there were a few really, really funny moments. One of the ones I want to point out is Jordan and Kerry's conversation, in which Jordan likened himself to being a doctor. And Kerry was like, but all you're doing is a fire warden. And it was very, very entertaining. I got what he meant when he was like, I'm being forced to do I'm being forced to do my job in a situation where I don't want to do my job. like when he was talking about a doctor being on an aeroplane and not being asked for help. But Kerry was just like, I cannot believe you've just compared yourself to a doctor. And it was quite funny. The next iconic moment was Zach not having a clue where anywhere in the UK was, except for Salford. As soon as Salford came up, he went, oh, that's near Manchester. And yeah, do you know what? Fair enough that you know where Salford is, but not great that you don't know where anywhere else in the UK is, because that was quite awkward at times. Trish, Henry, and Yinrun as the bigwigs. Just every single scene with them was iconic, and it was just so funny. At one point, Yinrun walked through the door, and Trish was like, "Oh, have we got a code for this? Do you know the code?" And Yinrun just went, "I don't know." And it was very funny. And then someone, I can't remember who it was, I think it was Trish, said that Henry looked like Donald Trump, which I'll be honest, he did. Very glamorous Donald Trump. And I like the fact that they know that each other have opposing political views, but they're able to just laugh about it, because in the Big Brother house, politics is not important. It's not important at all. You can sort of scream until you're black and blue in the face, but it's not important in the house. You've got to get on with these people, and I'm appreciative that they are doing that and they're not letting that stand in their way. Yinrun also called herself Marge because she had a massive hairdo on. Honestly, the wigs, definitely the best part of this episode. It was so funny to see them just strutting around in wigs. Especially Henry. I was really happy that Henry put on the wig and sort of didn't seem to fuss about it, because I can guarantee you that some of the other boys maybe wouldn't have been as comfortable with a wig on their head. And the last iconic moment of this episode has to be when they were deciding who should be middle management and bottom, and I think it was Yinrun or Henry brought up Olivia's name, and Trish immediately went bottom. I get the feeling Trish does not like Olivia, and I kind of agree with Olivia. She just seems very outspoken and argumentative, and sometimes I just think, are you arguing for the sake of arguing, or do you actually believe what you're saying? Like in last episode when she had to go at Yinrun for being nice. Riddle me that one. I don't get that. I don't get what game she's playing, because if she continues like this, she might have immunity this week, but unless there's an immunity challenge next week, she could be up for elimination, and I don't think the country is exceedingly excited to keep her in the house. So the thing is I think what's good is they're not playing the social game of like, oh, I've got to be good for the public, because it's allowing us to see them as themselves. Whereas like, I feel like some previous seasons, they play to the camera too much. They're too nice. And I'm glad that like we're getting to see kind of authentic selves from some people. But that's it for today. Thank you guys very, very much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow for what should be a nominations episode. Well, no, the nominations will come out on Friday, but we find them out tomorrow night. So hopefully in tomorrow's episode, we will talk about nominations and talk about who could potentially face the axe on Friday. Thank you guys very, very much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Keep on ranting. Bye now.